Welcome to Investors Insights, episode number 193. Today we will be discussing a jam-packed week of information that could impact your portfolio. And for our video watchers, we invite you to try listening to the same information on our podcast. Many people are discovering they like listening to it while they drive or exercise. Links can be found to the right of this video. And with that said, let's get started.
You're listening to Investors Insights with Greg Powell and the Portfolio Strategy team from Five Plan Partners.
I thoroughly enjoyed our meeting this morning. You guys brought some great things to the table. I don't know if it was because you had too much turkey and dressing over the weekend or what caused it, but we need to do that more often. So on that note, Bobby, you brought up a really good point about we've got a week here with a lot of information. In fact, what was the term that you used?
Yeah, boring, but very important.
Okay, all right.
So
explain that.
Yeah, so while the mainstream media is still covering the election, we as investors are still looking under the hood to make sure our economy is still going. And this week is loaded with a lot of information. Today it starts off with manufacturing. Manufacturing is a third, gross manufacturing is a third of our economy. Very important. Tuesday, third quarter GDP revisions come out, as well as consumer confidence going into the holiday season. Very important. And then mortgage applications comes out Wednesday. We'll see what higher rates are doing to mortgage applications. Housing remains very strong. And then on Friday, the big jobs numbers. So a lot to look at in terms of the economy. Make sure we're still chugging along this week.
Yeah, to get that confirmation is what we're talking about. And that said, as we approach year end and the holiday season, you know, people are wanting to spend money. Is what we're seeing from the consumer. At the same time, when they pull up to the gas pump, depending on what that price is, may also impact that spending. And Trey, you brought up our good old friends at OPEC.
That's right.
Talk to us a little bit about what those guys are doing for us here in the United States and our markets.
So a few months ago, they announced that they would have a meeting in November. November 30th will be their official meeting where they will cut production. And we saw oil and gas prices spike. As time went on, as we expected, there are cracks in that agreement. So the official meeting will be on Wednesday. And this is the same meeting that 2 years ago, when they couldn't come to an agreement, we saw oil drop, just plummet from 2014 into 2015. And so where that helps is we've seen gas prices come down, and that directly helps the consumer. So we'll see the data that Bob was talking about, how consumer sentiment and consumer spending. Are they spending those savings? And that's very good for the economy.
Right.
We've already heard Libya has already backed out of the perceived deal that hasn't even occurred yet.
Right.
And so Saudi Arabia may be backing out. And so it's just a lot of infighting already happening, and the meeting hasn't even occurred.
And so understand the economic news like Bobby was talking about and also what Trey's talking about can impact your portfolio, as well as not only consumer spending and also corporate earnings, correct?
Yes.
As we go towards the end of fourth quarter. And then Ashley, you stepped up to the plate here and you started just talking about, you know, all the politics here. We've had the election.
Yes.
Everybody is looking towards what's going to happen after the first of the year with this new administration we're looking at, and talk about that in relation to last week's vlog, because I thought it was really good.
Absolutely. We mentioned to you last week that we thought probably what Trump would attack, a lot of items that would have large economic impact, but you don't have to go through Congress and face a filibuster is the right way to say it. A good example of that, we said, you know, several of those examples would pop up. We have one this week that would have been a major drag on American business from the Department of Labor changing the threshold of how overtime pay was calculated. And without going through the mechanics of it, we'll tell you that would have been a major drag on American business. But it got enjoined injunctive relief. A federal judge stopped that after a lawsuit by 21 states, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of business. We're bringing that up for two reasons. Number one, that's the sort of stuff that's been happening through the administrative law process that's been impacting business you really can't see, but it's become a cost.
But it impacts...
Absolutely.
Well, the key word there, it's become a cost.
Correct.
And the other way to say it impacts businesses, which in turn determines what they spend, how they hire, and how profits. Thank you.
Exactly.
There's a word I like.
That's right.
So, you know, absolutely.
Absolutely. And the second thing is, too, the judge was making a point and practically make the point, you know, you can have the same impact with a tax cut. that goes straight at the individual. You don't have to run it through American business to try to slow it down.
So what you're saying is that as the market has moved up here and we've seen strength in that area,
Yes.
is that part of that is that we're now starting to see not only campaign promises, but possibly maybe confirmation in some form or fashion that we may see some of these tax cuts come about.
Absolutely.
And that's a
Absolutely.
positive for the market, and you need to be aware of that.
$2 trillion in combined regulation impacts American business. That's just got to come down.
And you're saying that goes around Congress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Correct. Goes
Yeah.
around Congress just in the administrative law section. That's it. Good
So
point.
it could be expedited, is what you're
Right.
saying. there.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yes.
So on that note, first of all, I want to say I challenge you to find any group out there that's doing like we are here at File Plan Partners, where we pull back the curtain and say, this is what we discussed during our meeting. These are issues that we're talking about. There's a lot of data and research that we use. These guys spend a lot of time in drilling down on that, and we want to keep you informed. And as we go forward, ending this year of 2016, we want you to know that as these markets fluctuate, that we're staying on top of them and we're keeping your portfolio in mind. With that note, we hope you have the great week, and we're going to keep you updated as we always have, and we look forward to giving you a report as the weeks progress. Thanks again. Thanks for watching.